Kלים Perik Ches Mishnah Vov, and we move on. We dealt with two methods of Hatzalah in the previous Mishnahs, the method of Toich Toiche and the method of Balua. We're now moving on to a third area, quite a well-known expression, but sometimes people are a little bit scared of this one. Tzomid Posel. Tzomid Posel is a form of Hatzalah which works not only with the toich of a kli cheres, it also works, and this is the more familiar usage, in the case of a mace and an oila mace. Let's just explain a bit of hakdam here to tzomid posel. Maybe it's easier if we actually start with the case of a kazayas min mace in an oila mace. The first thing to know is that tzomid posel only works, it's one directional. It doesn't stop tumah getting out. So if you seal a kazayas min mace or a mace within a tzomid posel, whatever that expression means, it doesn't stop the tumah getting out. All tzomid posel can do is stop tumah getting in. So, a classic example is if one has a mace in a room, then everything in the room becomes tummy. If in that room there is a kli, and the kli is a kli tahor, for instance, it's a kli made out of stone. Now, if you just put a board on this kli even, that is not yet enough to stop the tumah of the mace getting into the kli. Although the kli even is not able to be makabel tumah, and nor is the board, however, you cannot seal, you can't yet make this tumah-free area by enclosing it within a kli tar and a board. The only way you can create an area into which the tumah mace cannot creep is actually taking this kli tar, the kli even, and sealing it with a method of tzomid posel. The details of tzomid posel we'll see later on in Perik Yud, but basically it's a form of seal. So if you seal the top of the kli even, then you have now been successful in forming an area or a space into which the tumah mace cannot get. Similarly, tzomid posel works with a kli tar. It also works with a kli cheres. A kli cheres, true, can be makabel tumah from its toich. Therefore, if a kli cheres is inside an oila mace and the kli cheres is open, the kli cheres, of course, will become tummy. Putting a board on top of the kli cheres won't help you. But sealing the kli cheres with a tzomid posel works like sealing a kli even with a tzomid posel, and you have now successfully created a little area into which the tumah mace cannot get. That's how tzomid posel works with the oila mace. And therefore, anything found inside that sealed kli cheres is tahor from the tumah mace. Now we've got to take this tzomid posel and use it in tumas sheretz of a kli cheres. It works like this. If one has a big kli cheres, and this kli cheres is tummy, already because the sheretz has been inside its toich some time ago. So now the kli cheres is tummy, and the kli cheres is now able to be metame all oichlin and mashkin that find themselves inside its toich. Fine. One of the hatzolas for this oichlin and mashkin is that you can put the oichlin and mashkin inside a smaller, another kli tar or another kli cheres. So within the big kli cheres on the outside, you have inside a smaller kli tar, kli even, or a kli cheres, and you seal that kli with a tzomid posel. Now, the outer kli cheres isn't able to be metame anything, any oichlin or mashkin that find itself inside the sealed compartment. So just like the sealed compartment helps to protect anything inside it, in the case of an oila mace, a sealed compartment, a tzomid posel of a kli cheres or a kli tar, which finds itself inside a bigger outside kli cheres, then the kli cheres on the outside is not able to be metame any oichlin or mashkin that find itself inside the sealed compartment, the tzomid posel compartment of the inner kli. That's b'derech hakadama to the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Beis Sa'or Mukaf Tzomid Posel. A Beis Sa'or is a little box in which one keeps yeast. And it's completely sealed with a tzomid posel. V'nosu nosech hatanur. The tanur is tummy. This box finds itself inside the tanur. So of course, any food that is inside the base sa'or is protected by the tummy apostle, does not become tummy because of the tanur hatami. But there's an added complication here. Inside this base sa'or is made up of two compartments. Ha-sa'or v'ha-sheretz b'soichoi v'ha-keretz b'natayim. It's got two compartments. It's built in two compartments. So these two compartments, little a and little b, have a seal on top. The tummy apostle goes over both compartments, and the whole thing finds itself within a bigger tanur tummy. The sa'or is in compartment A, the bit of food called the sa'or, and the sheretz is in compartment B. For keretz b'natayim, there's a little wall. A keretz is a little wall which is mavdil between section A and section B, between part A and part B. Tanur tummy, that's for sure, because tummy apostle, remember, never works to stop tummy getting out. So the sheretz, which is in compartment B, is able to be metamed the tanur, no chiddush there. But for sa'or tahor, because the sa'or being in compartment B, and for klicheres every single toich is regarded as a separate entity, therefore the sa'or in compartment B is, Baruch Hashem, nicely protected by the tummy apostle, and therefore one part of the tummy apostle around section B is not strong enough to stop the tumas hasheret getting out and being metamed the tanur, but the tummy apostle, which is around section A, is strong enough to stop the tumah getting in from the tanur, and therefore the sa'or remains tahor. Quite simple. If instead of a sheretz being in compartment B, we've actually got a kazayis min ameis, same thing. Hatanur v'habayis tummy, of course, because tummy apostle doesn't allow tumas meis to get out, doesn't stop tumas meis getting out. So of course the tumas meis in compartment B gets out and is metame the whole house, the whole tanur, and of course it's metame compartment B, just like the sheretz was. But for sa'or, the sa'or which is still trapped in compartment A is tar because the tummy apostle stops tumas meis getting into compartment B. The Mishnah finishes off, Im yesham peseach tefach hakol tomei. If, however, the compartment between A and B breaks a little bit, and we now have a little nekev, a little pesach between compartment A and compartment B, says the Mishnah, if that pesach is a peseach tefach, it's a little window of a tefach by a tefach, then hakol tomei. So, if we're dealing with tumas meis, the Mishnah is actually very simple. What's happened here is the mace is able to be metame the whole house, the tanur in the house, because some apostle does not stop tumah getting out. And of course the tumah is also able to creep from section B to section A, because a tefach by a tefach, a pesach tefach, is enough to allow tumas meis to get through. So of course everything is tummy. That part of the Mishnah is very simple. However, the Rishonim say that this din of Im yesham b'seach tefach hakol tamei only applies to tumas meis. If we're dealing with tumas sheretz, then the din of the Mishnah does not apply, and the sa'or in compartment A still remains tar. That's because tumas sheretz doesn't travel through a tefach al tefach. That's a tumas meis concept. However, what we have to deal with here is, have we broken the tzomid apostles? The sa'or is in compartment A. Compartment A is protected by a tzomid apostle. True, we have now a little gap, but gaps aren't enough to break the rules of tzomid apostle, which we'll see later on. There's actually quite a difficulty in the Achronim how this works here, because surely what's happening here is that we're actually using compartment B, which is Tomei, to be part of the tzomid apostle for compartment A, but how can a Dover Tomei be part of a tzomid apostle? That's an issue discussed by the Chazon Ish and at length also by Rabbi Aaron Kotler. But the Rishonim do say that in the case of the Sheretz, the tzomid A, the tzomid apostle of part A is still left intact, and a Pesach Tefach actually wouldn't be enough to break the tzomid apostle. The Chazon Ish suggests you've actually got to have a nifchas ruboy till most of the compartment breaks, then you've got rid of the tzomit posel, and of course the sheretz finds itself now in the same toich as the soir, and we've lost that tzomit posel then.